90 minutes into the map being released, before half the population has even had a chance to like finish a download on it, the Easter egg could be completely solved by people that are using this tool to run through and do it.
Clutch Squad, what is up? And welcome back into Perkaholics Anonymous Podcast, episode 27. Jeffrey here, MZC above me. We're back. We have some things to talk about.
What Jeffrey is? Which Jeffrey?
Sorry, actually, at the Life of Hefe over on X. If you want to go look and hear me talk about the Abyssal Rim, some of the most intriguing training spots in the world with Saturn burning on the horizon and the undead at your heels. No, that's not what we're talking about today. We're not talking about Astra Malorum. Well, maybe we will a little bit, but that's not the main focus here. We're going to do general topics. We're going to do general housekeeping. We're going to try to start most shows with this housekeeping we've been talking about. Just gauge the community really quickly. Then we're going to move into our main talking point about this most recent discussion of data mining, how some of the cursed relics have been found, what it means for the future. You're going to want to stick around for that. But like button, comment down below, make sure you're subscribed, and get into that tier 2 membership over at MZC's channel with the join button for the Perkaholics tier. We are going to be talking today in the post show about Call of Duty Activision and how Jeffrey Epstein might have been a fan of the franchise. So you're going to want to get in that tier moving forward. All right, MZC. Kick us off here, man. How you doing?
I've got exclusive stories from the Epstein files on his top 5 favorite maps. So if you guys want to see me break down Jeffrey Epstein's top 5 favorite maps, join Perkaholics. But yeah,
there's 3 million pages that were just, that's a lot. There could still be some Call of Duty stuff in there.
You gotta trust me, bro. I heard the impossible Easter egg still on the table inside the files, so we're gonna have to really dig deep into these to discover all of the hidden Easter eggs of the first 3 million files. There's still 3 million more to be disclosed at a later time. Maybe, perhaps, we'll see what happens there. But again, let me reiterate, guys, if you haven't already, like 85% of you guys aren't subscribed. So if you're enjoying the show, definitely subscribe, turn on post notifications so you can always get in here right away. Also, leave your comments down below for next week's Community Corner. We're going to be going over all of the Season 2 changes, as we'll be doing our episode a couple days after that drops, so we'll get into that stuff when that happens. But yeah, dude, kicking things off right away, the DLC map was confirmed this week via the Season 2 roadmap to be called Paradox Junction, and immediately everyone was kind of like, this logo looks like a nuke, it's going to be Alpha Omega Remaster. But then there's some people that are like, oh, that leak was only half true. So now there's like, again, juxtaposed, there's different things going on here, different rumors about what the map is going to be. I'm still going to put my money down and say like 50-60% of it might be Alpha Omega reimagined, but just the name itself, Paradox Junction, sounds like there could be a lot of things from other universes being pulled in here, with obviously the Paradox being referenced at the end of Togder Toten, like the whole Paradox is them being alive after all those events and stuff. Here we are again, where all those characters are alive. Junction is like a fork in the road, so it's like where all these different paradoxes are going to be meeting. I'm assuming that we're going to be seeing Ava Jensen. That's a pretty big paradox in and of itself. Shouldn't exist. Technically, at least not in this universe, because they all got sucked out of the main timeline into the Dark Ether. We'll see what happens with the Wonder Weapon if it's the Blundergat. There's the rumored other one that could be the Mark II. Who knows if there's other Wonder Weapons, specialists, could be little Arnie's coming back. This just seems like it could be another like hodgepodge map similar to Ashes of the Dam, where there's a lot of things from, other universes being pulled into one, but this one could be more Ether lore heavy, which I would be all for. But first impressions here, I know right away you're like, hey, it's a pretty hard name. Where's your mind go when you hear Paradox Junction as DLC 2, aside from the fact that it's not a very good YouTube title name?
That's exactly where my thoughts went. It's just not very good for having this in the title of YouTube videos and for guides and everything, which I understand. That's a big thing for a lot of creators in the community. I honestly have no idea what to expect here, and I like that. Obviously, the Nuketown, the nuke in the background, that's kind of some obvious subtle foreshadowing, if anything, and some even the trailer they released and some of the clips from there. I don't know though. I'm more interested. Let me read this for you, MZC. I'm sure a lot of our audience has read it or heard it themselves, but the actual blog description is very interesting to me. After freeing Caltheris from her bonds at the culmination of Astra Malorum's main quest, the crew was pulled down into the sands of Mars and are now stranded out of time, watched over by the malevolent warden. What foul entities otherworldly weaponry and other surprises await. What now, when you hear the words otherworldly weaponry, that doesn't sound like a reused wonder weapon to me. Maybe I could be off base here. Obviously, speculative intro to the show, but that sounds like something new coming, just to me.
My mind immediately goes to like Apothicon Servant, Little Arnie's, because like I'm still on the whole Apothicons are coming back at some point train. So to me, I kind of start to think about like, okay, stuff that maybe weapons from the Ether timeline, maybe that's otherworldly. Like that's where my my head goes towards. I know you're still on the maybe they potentially scrambled and push the map back, or it's coming in season 2 reloaded because they need more time to finish it. Maybe they changed some things around, got rid of the Blundergat, switched up after some of the leaks and the rumors, the backlash. Who knows? What did you say at the start? What was your initial like? What did you read off first? Read that again. The first part, not with the otherworldly weaponry, but the first part of it.
After freeing Caltheris from her bonds at the culmination of Astra Malorum's main quest.
Okay, so it says that they were pulled into the Sands of Mars. Sands of Mars. I'm glad that they specified that, because on the COD pod, Kevin Drew said that they were going to be like going into the Earth. I think that was just a misspeak there, whereas everyone was like, oh, we're back on Earth, so it could be, we're in hell and da-da-da. Maybe hell is on Mars. Maybe this is like inside of Mars. We know it was a big player back in the Ether storyline. If you were woke and you knew what you were talking about, and you believed in all of the outside lore, that Mars was very important, so is Phobos. So it'll be interesting to see like what they do here in the Dark Ether timeline to like really signify Mars. Imagine if this is just like the Warden's Lair basically, but it's just a bunch of like ether relics and things that shouldn't be in this timeline are all converging here. So I got to go back to like Jensen. We talked about like the otherworldly entity or whatever that the phrase, the terminology was there. I think that might be a hint towards Jensen. I know you've got a good. What's your theory on how this is all going to end in this map? Because I mean, let's just. I'm gonna give you the floor here, but let's just assume, for me personally, I'm thinking there's no soul collection in this map, and the final 2 maps are soul collection. The next 2 maps are soul collection going into like the final DLC. But I know you've got a pretty interesting theory that I could buy into for what's going to happen at the end of this Easter egg moving forward.
Well, honestly, I think if the soul collection continues, because we already have 4. That's 2 from each of the first 2 maps. If it continues, I honestly think that they play some sort of storyline at the end of one of these maps where if all the soul, if all the souls are re-given to us, or if most of them are, then at some point Richtofen takes the skull in the cage from the Warden after we defeat him, and then takes all of our souls back for himself, and then he ends up being kind of the ruler and kind of the person who controls the skull and controls the souls. I think that's something that they would do. I think that's something totally plausible, because that's just who Richtofen is at the end of the day.
Dude, I love it. It would just be such a weird switch. Then you have like no idea where the story is going, right? Because right now everyone's like, oh, here we're gonna get some souls. Maybe this is the one-off map. What if you just kill the Warden completely here, and the real big bad pops up that you have to fight for the rest of the storyline going into the next game? Like, I feel like they could take this so many different ways. Obviously, I think the most predictable way is, you have a run-in with the Warden, you escape, maybe you don't get any souls, but you're teleported to the next location, and he becomes like maybe like the main antagonist moving forward. Because before, the first 2 maps we've had Vaetherion and Caltheris like being the announcers and stuff and kind of going at you, but maybe the Warden takes over for the final few maps.
I think we definitely see the Ward in this map, though. Even if we don't fight him, I think we definitely run into him, or you can see him on a side egg or something.
In-game cutscene or something where, like, at the halfway point, the Warden comes down and maybe, like, what if he gets the souls back? What if he just is like, yeah, nah, fuck this shit, and takes everyone's souls back, and he's like, y'all are done. I mean, I don't think that's I think that's probably the least likely scenario there, but I don't know. It's just so odd that we're taking this detour when, you have, like, the roadmap going on here. There wasn't really a detour in Black Ops 3 at all. You had the Giant being the first. Well, gets the summoning key in Shadows of Evil, goes into the Giant where Richtofen supposedly gets his soul. He really didn't there. Then to DE, then to Zetsubo, then to Gorod, then to the ending, which was Revelations. It's just, this is a different, I don't think we've seen this before. Like, there was a stop in between Zetsubo and Gorod where they went to Mob of the Dead to get the blood vials. But, that wasn't really portrayed in the map. So, this is wide open. I think, again, people could be very upset with this potentially being an Alpha Omega remake. Maybe it's a little bit bigger than that. Maybe there are some other areas from different timelines, different things that kind of actually make it more of a Revelation style map. Maybe not on the size of Revelations, but something similar in vein there. But I think if the storyline's good and this really starts to bring back a lot more ether relics, not just obviously cursed, but like the Blundergat, or I don't know, like the Gauntlet of Siegfried. I'm just throwing stuff out there. The Little Arnie's. I still think the Little Arnie's coming back at some point too, because they were in a bundle last year. Why remake all the assets for that if you're not going to bring it back? I mean, the homunculus was in an assassination attempt. Well, that's not the right terminology there, but like, dude, what the fuck? What are the elims that you get when you run up behind somebody, you melee? It's not an assassination.
I'm pretty sure it's.
Is it? Is it? Okay, all right. So the assassination move, you get the homunculus coming out.
It's not an attempt though. I mean, you can't really fail it unless somebody takes your kill,
or you get shot. Somebody should take you kill. You get your shots, and comes up behind you, and then bends you over the table in Nuketown. But it's fine. You know, it's just some personal stories. But yeah, no, I think.
But even in the teaser MZC, like I feel like a lot of people, rightfully so. We don't want to stay too long on this, obviously, but it's like people are really like. I feel like this map is an interesting spot because people are keyed up for this because of the story and where it's going. And if it's like, if the story and lore and atmosphere of this map isn't really high, I feel like people are going to be disappointed in it, even if it is a good map. But like, even if you like kind of slow down the teaser, like the 9-second clip, and you look at some like the actual like still shots, like clearly they're like, all right, this is supposed to be the warden, like in the hat. I'll send you the screenshot if you want to overlay it too, so people know what I'm talking about. Like there's somebody here in a hat. It's probably supposed to be a warden, and then there's the dancing kids, which could be a reference to the dancing girls, side Easter egg, whatever it may be. But then there's another character in the chalk drawn on the ground further up that has a hat on too. Yeah, but you can't really see his eyes, and you could just see it's like its teeth.
He's got that like ribbon around the hat too, which matches up with the Shadow Man's hat. That's why I'm like, dude, I wonder if we kill the warden on this map and the Shadow Man pops up and he's like, "What's up, fuckers?" And they're just like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And he's like, you don't know me, but anyways, I want to fuck you guys over. I'm gonna take your soul. We're gonna get out of here, and then restart the multiverse. Because again, not to spend too much time on the topic, but we went over this in the first Perkaholics episode that we did, talking about leaks and rumors and zombies, and we went and revisited when we found out that the original crew is going to be coming back for Black Ops 7. That was like 5 days after BO6 launched, and in the original leak for that, they said that they were going up against like a new big bad, or against a villain that wants to restart the multiverse. So like, collecting souls here to restart a multiverse could potentially see Shadow Man or Monty at some point, or maybe a hybrid of both. So I think this would be a crazy plot twist to like, if we just like knock off the warden, but then that unleashes the Shadow Man or something, and it's like, oh my god, all hell breaks loose, and you have no idea where the story is going for the last 3 maps leading up to. I would assume the multiverse restarts at the end of the game, but that's just speculation and takes there. But I agree with you. Yeah, I think that the kids are actually Ava Jensen, like, who's like the good I know you played enough MWZ, but like, what people are speculating that like the regular girl is Ava Jensen, and then like the dark entity looking one is like her alter ego, like Dark Ether persona, the entity, because they were both technically kind of actually similar to the Shadow Man and Monty. Now that I'm thinking about it, at one point you're one person, but then eventually personality splits off into the Dark Ether, you get an evil version of yourself. So it would be really interesting to see like Ava Jensen / the entity, and then like this guy is like basically like Monty / Shadow Man controlling the warden. But it'll be interesting one way or another. I think you're right though. If the map is a little lackluster, but the lore is insane and it's really, really good and it hooks everybody, I don't think you'll hear a complaint about the map. I mean, people will probably say, "Oh, it's not a great map, but the lore is good," right? But if you have like mid lore and the map isn't like a sweeping success where it's like clearly better than Astra Malorum, that's when I think you're going to start to see people hit the panic button a little bit and be like, "Oh my god, here we go, 2.0. We're living the same thing as we did last year." But then even then, you got to take a step back and be like, "We still got 3 maps coming. We know that for sure." They doubled down on it. Not sure they're going to walk that back at any point, but yeah, we'll just see where things go. I think it's better to not like, that's what I keep saying. It's better not to freak out in the moment. Leaks are leaks. Take them with a grain of salt. They're fun to talk about. But if this ends up being like 1/3 Alpha Omega and the rest is like little islands or other areas from other maps, and it's just like, I mean, we all stirred up a bunch of controversy and kind of put the game into a lesser state in terms of like fear mongering than if we had just been like, "Oh, cool, we'll see what happens," right? So I think we're kind of getting to the point now where we kind of just chill, because talked about this last time too. Oh, Ashes of the Dam, Transit 2.0, it's going to be a green run. And it was like, people being like, "No, it's not going to be a green run." Now there's like no POIs besides Farm and Diner that even resemble anything from Transit. So we'll see. We'll see. Gotta take every day one day at a time.
No, absolutely. How long have we been preaching this? How long have we been talking about this? Wait till we get our hands on it and go from there.
At least since before the game came out.
Oh, dude, since Black Ops 6, I feel like from maybe even we didn't touch on it at such a high level there, but even a little bit in Black Ops 6, it's like, oh my gosh, the digital online universe is like so wrapped up in like what a couple people say, and it's like I think we've done a good job, and I appreciate and love seeing people in the comments that are like, oh yeah, like you guys have kind of shown me, or they agree with us. They're like, oh, like, yeah, I kind of play it myself first and try not to listen to the noise and just, form my own opinion. So that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I think we did that with the Ether storyline stuff too, being like, oh, if they come back, like, give it a chance. And they came back and it was literally all hell breaks loose, because honestly, like the way they did come back was kind of just like almost somehow Palpatine returned level of bad, but this whole game
turned out fine.
It's turned out fine. Everyone's hooked back in. We were right about that at least. So our last bit of housekeeping here is that we have 2 new leaderboard events coming in season. I think we kind of knew about these. We're not really going to cover anything else that was confirmed in the blog post because we did that last week, but our 2 leaderboard events are both for Dead Ops Arcade 4 and Mars Survival. For Dead Ops Arcade 4, I'm pretty sure it's just going to be your total score over the course of like the 5 days that the leaderboard event's active. So like gonna be sweating Dead Ops Arcade. I know we haven't touched it at all this year, but definitely gonna have to grind that if there's a camo involved or a skin involved over there. And then Mars Survival is, I could be wrong, but I think it's your highest round on Mars Survival. I don't think it's like a total amount of rounds played. I think it might just be like highest round, which I actually think is pretty sick for a zombies leaderboard. Some people are gonna be like, I don't want to do this because I'm gonna get stuck in a board with somebody that got to 500 or 700, and you're gonna have the people that potentially maybe like cheat or find some sort of like dupe glitch for whatever, or weapons broken or something like that. Like you could have that potential where somebody just gets into a glitch and ruins the whole leaderboard for everybody, or it's made public and people are doing this. But I think that these are 2 decent leaderboard events. I know some people are just totally against them altogether because not everyone's gonna get the camo, but I think this is better than running around collecting little Archies in the ground.
No, I think that they're trying new stuff with the Mars Survival leaderboard, which means they're actually listening to us and seeing like, hey, a lot of people dislike how this is. And I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff that is like, it gets to this point with Treyarch where I can't tell if they don't know how to fix it or they don't want to fix it, as far as like being able to, and maybe it's impossible. Like if you can't get rid of the game-breaking glitch for, the different other leaderboard styles, which, like you said, still could happen in this one, but I'll be curious. I'm sure it's going to work fine, but we're going to have to test, if save files work. They should, you would think, if it's a high round event, it's not going to be a high round in one sitting, and then if you like use the save file, it doesn't clock onto the leaderboard.
I'm sure it'll work.
I just could see that being, even if they didn't intend for that to be, I could just see that like, oh, the save file doesn't work for the leaderboard event, or what happens if the save file is still active after the leaderboard event is still on. I don't know. I could see some things going wrong with this too, even like you said, if with game breaking stuff, but it's like, I think this is a lot better than, I actually think this does a better chance of potentially rewarding the person with the most skill compared to what they've done in the past. So I like that.
I agree. I think that at some point, though, somebody's going to crash and lose a leaderboard event because of a crash or because of a save file that was wiped. So like, there's going to be controversy one way or another.
If you crash at 100, like I'm thinking here, though, like, what do you think the top 3 people are going to be? You think that you're going to be in these leaderboards where like the top 3 people are over around 100? I guess I'm curious to see. Like, I think if you're in the 60s or 70s, you have a good chance of placing really good in this leaderboard event. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people are going to high round like that, but we'll wait and see.
I think it's going to come down to whether or not the LGM1's buffed by Thursday, because like if it's not,
I don't think it will be.
With no Oscar, it won't be too bad. I mean, if you have Uber Klaus, that's still going to be a problem because Uber Klaus is fucking tanky too. So you're really going to have to be cautious with him. But if it's just a map with an elite and the weapons that we have now, especially if cursed counts, you get PAP 4, there should be no problems with the PAP 4 LGM1 moving forward. It might just be how long can you run around in 0 gravity, basically. How long can you take that? Because I mean, it actually should be easier to survive on Mars than any other map in the game because of anti-grav. And
the spawns might be really slow on that map, though.
Yeah, you're right. It does spawn pretty slowly over there. But then again, I don't think I've ever been on Mars and played rounds with the Rampage Inducer on yet. So we'll have to see like how that works. So yeah, either way, I know it's kind of a, we're getting curse survival and that's really it, and spawn room challenge until the next map comes out. But I am looking forward to Mars survival. I think this will probably be the coolest survival map that they implement all year outside of potentially getting Nuketown back. I don't really know if they'll do anything else crazy. I'm sure at some point we'll get another one from a different map, but I think like Ashwood is rumored as one of them. I think there's like one or two more POIs that haven't been brought in. Like, will Blackwater Lake get a POI? Will Janus Towers get a POI? Who knows? We'll see there. But I mean, for time being, Mars will be pretty sick.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they can do a lot of stuff with this. We've been talking about this all year. I think the survival maps, whenever they decided to put it in, I mean, that's one of the smarter things they've done for this game. I think it's highly played, and whether it was, people saying Liberty Falls or the Tomb were just survival maps, like, I could really see them trying to take some of the negatives from Black Ops 6 and changing them into positives into this game, and survival maps being at the top of that list. So I respect the potential intro, looking inward in the inner reflection. So I love the survival maps. I main the survival maps, to be completely honest with you. Now, granted, I'm still only 62% of the way to infestation, and I haven't really put enough hours into the game to be able to get that, but that's the best way to do it, basically, until you get up to the elite challenges. So I love it.
All right, well, let's get on to our main talking point. This is going to be kind of extremely controversial, and I'm sure everyone's already probably heard about this. If you haven't been, you're not really following the zombies community on a day-to-day basis, because there's been a lot of talk about this up to this point. But the final 3 cursed relics for Astra Malorum were found all within like an hour and a half, 2 hours of each other the other day, after over a month of searching for these things. And it all came like in the middle of the night too. So it was like I woke up and all of a sudden I looked down and it's like, oh, Astra Malorum cursed relics found. I'm like, holy shit, what happened? So scrolling through Twitter, basically the rundown here is that there was a Chinese data miner that's created it's called like a tool. I don't know like 100% the specifics here. If I get something wrong, somebody feel free to correct me in the comments. I'm just going to give you kind of like a bullet point overview here that most people can understand, because a lot of people might not even understand what I'm talking about. But somebody made a tool that allows the user to see every single interactable item on every map with the name of what each item relates to in the code. So like, let me give you a good example of this. If you're playing on like Shadows of Evil, when you spawn in, it'll show you where in the back of the truck, the box that holds the summoning key, you can walk up to it and it'll have like a label pointing towards the box that says like ZM_summoning key. So right when you load in, anything that's for main Easter egg, side Easter egg, opening up the map, anything that you can interact with will be displayed to you with the line of code that tells you exactly what it is, which, I mean, a lot of people have already been able to go through the codes for stuff like this and figure out like, oh, these are the items we're looking for, but we have no idea how to get any of this. Now it just shows you exactly where it's at, and you can kind of just piece it together from there and interact with things and walk around the map. Like if there's, one piece for a relic and spawn and you walk over at Tessie, it'll say like, I'm just making this up, but it would say like, relic _ like civil protector head, and then the lampposts or the candles on the chandelier in the speed cola room will say like relic _ so it'll show you like kind of where everything's at, which is extremely like, it's bad because if you're hunting the relics is one thing. Like, it's been a month, nobody's found this stuff. I feel bad for the people. I haven't been hunting it at all, I'll be honest with you guys. I just have not, outside of the Ashes relics, been looking for this stuff. But I feel bad for the people that are putting hours and hours and hours a day banging their head against the wall, trying to find new relics, trying to get any leads. People were doing that all day, every day for over a month, and to have all of that just be kind of washed away by some dickhead with a mod tool just to do it for whatever reason is whatever. Relics are one thing, okay? I'm not personally super tied to relics, side Easter eggs even. Like if they go back last year or to the other maps from last year and figure out like, oh, the tomb had another side Easter egg or whatever, like it's in the past is whatever. But where this becomes really, really fucking dangerous is for the main quest Easter eggs. This could be really, really bad for every single Easter egg hunt moving forward, not only in this game, but any game, period. Apparently this works with every single game, or it could work with every single game. It's not necessarily limited to COD Zombies, but I mean, let's say the next map comes out, 90 minutes into the map being released, before half the population has even had a chance to like finish a download on it, the Easter egg could be completely solved by people that are using this tool to run through and do it. So it's going to come down to like, hey, let's have an honor system, because I doubt within the next month Treyarch is going to be able to re-encrypt everything and find a way in the files to completely change how everything's coded. Like, I just don't think that's happening. So this is going to come down to either an honor system of people being like, hey, we're not going to use this at all. We're just not. We'll only use this for relics or side Easter eggs or stuff that we can't find, period. Like, that's one thing. But now at this point, the can of worms is open. You don't know who's going to be using this. Anybody could, like, in the background be paying somebody to use this. I'm not accusing anybody of doing anything at all. I don't, that's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here to accuse anybody, but it could be very easy for somebody to DM or, link up with one of these people that have access to these tools and go, hey, tell me where everything's at, spawn in and give me all the information, and then just not act like they found everything. I'm not accusing anybody of doing that. I'm not saying anybody's done that to this point. I'm just saying this is where the integrity of every single main Easter egg hunt moving forward is on the line. Not only in this game, but every other game out there. This is a really dangerous time, not only for gaming, but COD in general, and especially zombies, because it's like, if for the next 4 Easter egg hunts, the remaining 4 maps in the game all end within an hour of the maps coming out, the game's going to be cut. It's going to be dead. I'm telling you right now. If everything gets solved day one, the side Easter eggs, the relics, the actual Easter egg itself, it's all done within 24 hours, this game is going to die very quickly, no matter how good the gameplay is, no matter how good everything else is. It's just not, like, that's the highlight. And you guys it reflects in YouTube views, it reflects in interest on Twitter, it reflects, anywhere you can see the statistics of people tuning in every single day for zombies content. You have your diehard loyalists that watch every single day, that play every single day, but the majority of people come back for that DLC window of a week or two, and that's going to, affect obviously us as YouTubers, but also as a community. You're going to be burnt. If you just walk into it and go, everything's solved in 2 hours, there's no fun in Easter egg hunt. There's no fun in you doing it yourself. It's just all going to be out there for you. So this tool has not only completely ruined the Astra relic hunt, which probably would have taken a lot longer than another month just to figure out these last 3 relics, because some of them are just absolutely insane to think about, like how anybody would have ever found that. But 2, moving forward, Easter egg hunts we're not in a good spot right now, and we're on like nuclear panic button here if Treyarch isn't able to find a way to completely change how they encrypt their stuff, or 2, these mod tools aren't shut down immediately, because it's going to absolutely cook the Easter eggs. And like I said, moving forward into other games too, if you're a fan of any other game, this could be used on anything. So it's it'll be interesting to see how this plays out moving forward. But I don't know, man. It's just not what you want to see when you're a month away from a new map coming out, and also you just had pretty much what could have been another 3 or 4 weeks of cursed hunting flushed down the drain by somebody. I don't even know why. Like, why do people even do that? Like, why do people even spend their time building a tool like that? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
All right, there's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, there is. I fucking I yapped. I said what I said.
No. You're correct. You're 100% correct. But I want to reiterate without saying the same thing. I want to give a little bit of a different perspective here. I think you're actually right about it being, a nuclear level problem at this point. And I'll say that because we know that the team at Treyarch really values these hunts. And I think the problem is, especially moving forward, is that I think they wanted this cursed relic hunt to last into the off season a little bit. That instantly goes out the window with this new discovery. And something's up, because take us back, MZC. When did they find Samantha's drawing for Ashes of the Damned? Astra was already out, was it not?
Oh, dude, that was found like a week ago. It was like a week or two ago that they dropped
That's what
that
I'm
stuff.
saying.
Yeah, that was like a month and a half into the game. Yeah, that was a long time in.
But that's what I'm saying. DLC 1 was out before everything for Ashes was solved. Yeah. Now they find all 3 remaining Astra relics weeks before DLC 2 is even out. So there has to be a problem with the timing, the frequency, all the factors there, and with the evidence. Something is up. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this probably once, because and this is not to be bossy, this is not to be toxic, this is not to be, I just need, if somebody at Treyarch is watching this, you guys have to do something about this. I think it's to that point. Maybe you are behind the scenes and you aren't saying anything. That's the initial hopes. My suggestion would be, and me and MZC are nobodies when it comes to game development. I don't want to speak from a point of, we're geniuses and all this. I'm just telling you from my opinion and my perspective, what I would suggest. And like I said, we don't know, we're not experts on this, but if you can isolate that all 3 of the relics were solved from one account, that would be a good start. Now, let's say you can't do that. Maybe there's nothing they could do. Maybe if they're looking for that, maybe if they find that, and maybe that, puts up a red flag on their radar, maybe there's nothing they could do. If people are using VPNs and people are, encrypting on there, whatever it may be, if they're smart enough to figure this out, they're probably smart enough to hide their identity so their accounts don't get banned or their IP addresses don't get pulled. Maybe that's the case. If you haven't been able to figure that out, your next big problem, like you stated, MZC, is the Paradox Junction Easter egg. It cannot be solved in the first 30, 45 minutes or an hour. The game's cooked. Like you said, the game's cooked. My suggestion would be, and like I said, this might not be possible. Treyarch may not be able to do this. I would go into the map and I would code the first 2 steps. I would add, you have all the Easter egg steps out right now. I would code 2 additional steps onto the front of the Easter egg. So you would move the first step to 3 and you would do 1 and 2. And then, hear me out here, you wouldn't need to do the first 2 steps to activate the 3rd step. The 3rd step would still be the first step, but I would code in 2 extra steps that are so obscure that when somebody solves it and it's from the same account that solves them back to back, boom, you know exactly who it is. Hit their IP, cease and desist, ban their accounts, whatever it may be. And they might load up and just get a new Activision account and it's not going to matter. That's how I would do it from a novice noob game designer. Now, is that possible? I'm not too sure. But I think if they don't get this under control, there's going to be a huge problem for the remainder of this game. And this is the same inflection point last year where you lost the game. This is a totally different set of circumstances. I think we're on a much better upward trajectory. I think the storyline is 100% there. I think the gameplay is largely improved. I think the perks that have come in are fun. I think Cursed has a subset of the community interested, and people like hunting the eggs and they like hunting the relics. And now you've run into this unexpected barrier where if this Easter egg is solved, and listen to this, MZC, and I understand, absolute power corrupts absolutely. So this is absolute power. You have the power to see everything on the map. What are the odds people don't use it for Paradox Junction's Easter egg?
Zero, dude. There's 0% chance that if this
is I'm a little higher than 0, but you're banking on people's goodwill. I have it at like 4 or 5%, but you can't bank on people's goodwill. But imagine this map comes out and it isn't solved for the first couple of let's say it's a normal modern hunt, 6-7 hours. What? It's unlikely if people are using it. Maybe the solve is it's pretty much confirmed the solve. It could be for all Easter eggs. I'm saying, imagine if you can't do imagine the main quest is somehow not affected by it. But I think we're cooked. If this remains in the game and they can't weed this out, I think you said it perfectly. I think we're cooked.
I think they got to do. I would take more of a dictator's approach to this. And I'm speaking from a place of I'll be totally 100% open and transparent. Last year, I got a lot of weapons early from doing the bundle thing, where if you got killed by somebody using a bundle in a private match, you could copy the loadout or you could save the bundle to your store and then purchase the bundle. Let's say the weapon comes out a week early, you could purchase it. And I got gameplay with that stuff. There was at one point where somebody was able to get Mr. Peaks onto my account. I didn't use an unlock tool on the account myself. It was just, people were passing around the ability to duplicate that. So somebody at some point used one, duplicated Mr. Peaks a bunch of times to different accounts, and I got blessed enough to be able to use that. Full transparency there. I've done stuff like that. Again, I'm not an unlock tool person, but I've had
that's nothing in comparison now.
But that's what but I'm just saying, I'm gonna just talk from a place here of know I've done shit before, so I'm not gonna be the type of person that's everybody should be banned and you should be blah blah blah, because I'll admit that I've done stuff like that. Now, granted, I had a little bit of an honor system where I was like, I'm not going to upload this more than at least like 12, 14 hours prior to the stuff coming out. So it's not a week in advance. I'm putting up Mr. Peak's gameplay. People, the second they got, the ability to get the Ether Blade, that shit was thrown up. I was like, all right, I'll at least wait so I don't get in too much trouble, because I was still trying to get on the good side of people at Activision and Treyarch. But,
and I could promise you in the audience that if this ability, if this software, if this whatever it may be fell into our laps, I could guarantee you we wouldn't use it. And that's coming from people for 6 straight DLCs. We're sitting here at our setups MZC's trying to be the first person to have guides out. Because I'll tell you this, and I could tell you why this happens. This happens where people do data mining and people do, stuff that's very game breaking to be first or get stuff out, whatever it may be, because you're not love of the game first. You weren't a fan before you were a content creator. You got into content creation for the views, for the influence, for the AdSense revenue, for playing with other people, whatever it may be. And me and MZC were Call of Duty Zombies fans way before he started doing any of this.
Yeah, that's why, again, not to be like, oh, I would never, ever touch any of that, because I did last year for sure. I was getting bundles early and shit. But again, a little bit of a difference there. One, from me being like, I could have had Mr. Peak's gameplay up like 2 weeks before I actually released like the full augment track and video and shit like that. I'm not, again, that's not making me sound like I'm better than anybody. I still did it, right? I'm admitting to it. But at the same time, I didn't go out and ruin it 2 weeks in advance or whatever. It was like a couple hours before it dropped. But my point in all of this is like, I genuinely think that we're at a point where if you're even like poking through the files, they have kernel level access to your PC, if you're on PC at least, and that's where all these people are data mining stuff. You're not doing that on a PlayStation or an Xbox for the most part. But I think if you go into the files at all for shit like that, or you're starting to like break encryptions, I think they should just brick your PC. Like, I just think at this point,
that would be crazy.
I get going for renders, like you need to be able to go and pull things for people that do renders. Obviously, we know Fajardi does that. I wouldn't want him to be impacted because he's not going through and data mining outside of just pulling stuff. Like, it's just not. I don't know if there's a way to separate that from actually digging through literally encrypted files for stuff like that, or downloading like a cracked version of the map now to find things. But I think it's to a point where like if you are associated or you're with like I just couldn't you can't trust it, dude. Like, you just can't trust it. We've already seen map descriptions be leaked early. We've already seen relics be found. What's next? Like, and
slippery
to be honest,
slope.
like, we're already on a slippery slope with the Easter egg hunts this time around. Last year Citadel was supposedly somebody hacked the steps for that. There's some controversy around Reckoning too. We've seen some glitches this time around. Like, it's not exactly been the cleanest year of Call of Duty Zombies content from a lot of people, myself included in certain situations. But like, dude, like this, we're at a point now where it's like, okay, we're talking like the whole Easter egg being solved within 90 minutes of the map coming out. Like, it needs, you gotta shut it down. This, and I've seen people say, like, not to fearmonger, but this could potentially impact the release of DLC 2. Like, what if they're just like, you know what, we're not putting it out at Season 2 Reloaded because we don't have a control over this, not an unlocked tool, but this, dev build basically where you can go in and see everything. It's not coming out Season 2 Reloaded anymore. We don't have control over this. We don't want the map to be ruined. Now not only are you fucking over the community and the people that are searching for relics every single day, but you're fucking over everybody else that expected a map to drop at Season 2 Reloaded because they got to push it back to say, we're just not doing this. And like, I'm not saying that, I think that's a very slim possibility, and I'm not trying to fearmonger here, but that could be a possibility moving forward where we just don't get a map in Season 2 now because they don't want to like have everything completely ruined or have everything data mined and the whole thing fizzle out. So I'm sure they've got so much more on their plate now than they have had in a long time trying to figure this out, because if I were in their shoes, I'd be scrambling. I'd be like, we've already had Ash's stuff leak early. We've already had Astra Malorum's entire intro and map setting and Shangri-La be put out to the public basically a week early. Like, so that stuff's out there. It's going to be the same situation here. If this is still out around the time the next Easter egg comes out, it doesn't matter what anybody said. People are going to use it. It doesn't matter if you have a good moral compass. It doesn't matter if you're like, oh, I'm not going to do it and just wait for the community to solve it. People are going to be people, and they're going to do stuff like that. So I would, they're in a tough spot now. And this is not good moving forward because, like I said, could be pushing a lot back, could be even scrapping content because of this at some point. Who knows? But yeah, dude, I think they got to just, if you're even poking around in these files, they should just, I mean, they have kernel level access to your PC. Just fucking brick it. Just to take it down, virus it, Trojan horse it, completely destroy it, take everything. Or the guy that was posting this stuff, his stuff is on the internet. You know, it's not like he was just a nobody or some anonymous person. Like,
that's a good point.
People know who he is. People know where the stuff came from. People found, like, they have his account. He was tweeting out the solves in real time. So it's like, cease and desist. Takes 24 to 48 hours to send a cease and desist letter there and be like, if you don't take this down, you're going to court. Like, we're going to sue your ass over this. So, I mean, again, it's, at the end of the day, it's a video game, right? Like, it's not the end all be all. We're not hacking another government trying to pull, you know,
it's a pretty big video
stuff
game,
like that.
though.
But then here's this could essentially be overlaid to every single video game. At the end of the day, if you're a normie, if you don't play video games, you're gonna be like, dude, what's the fucking problem here? People are digging through the code to find stuff. Like, no one's gonna care about that, right? Like, I understand it. We've had macros this year. I don't come on here every episode and go, oh, it's people that are doing the macros need to be shut down. The infinite gobblegum farming is a joke. It's a disgrace to people that are paying for them or that are people grinding them legit. Like, who the fuck cares about gobblegums like that, right? Like, who cares about, I mean, like, maybe to cheat to the first 999 ever, maybe, but like after that, who cares about a macro to get to 999 for a calling card? Like, it's not that big of a deal. Weapons early, as long as you're not going in a multiplayer war zone and destroying people with a meta that 99.99999% of people don't have, not really a problem there either. But when it comes to like these Easter egg hunts, these Easter egg steps, we're on a very, very thin layer of ice right now, trying to not crack and break it into a main Easter egg that completely just ruins the rest of the game. So, dude, I don't know. Yeah, it's not a good look for, I think personally, anybody that's doing this, like, or just a social, like, it's gotta go away. It's gotta go away. Somebody's gotta send the black clutch vans at them and pick them up and take them away.
And just imagine, put yourself in the dev shoes, though. I mean, they have to know about this. If they don't know about this,
they know. Yeah, they know.
We're cooked. If they don't know about it, we're more cooked than actually we thought we were cooked. But they have to know about this. And imagine, like, your mission for Black Ops 7 is like, hey, we're gonna put, I don't know, pick a percentage. What percentage of dev time goes into Curse? Just think about it. You know, we're going to do this and we're going to have high level solves and we're going to appeal to the community that likes the hardcore aspect and likes Easter egg hunting. And then you're not even 2 full maps in of the community actually saw. I mean, MZC though, like, my thing is, like, it wasn't not, I think it was highly speculated that some of this was happening with the Ashes of the Damned relics, but not to this level of clarity, not to this level of detail where you literally could spawn in. It's going to show you exactly what to do and you could basically see it with your own eyes and you don't have to do any interpretation of the data. It's really just going to show you. So like you said, it's been a problem, but I don't know. Imagine being a dev and you're just like, oh, this is 25% of my time and this mode could be DOA before more than half of the maps haven't even released yet.
Yeah, there was some speculation during the Ashes hunt that stuff was being pulled. Again, it wasn't as, from my understanding, it's never been like this, with like this level of dev build, basically being able to go in and see everything everywhere. I know for Black Ops 3 this existed before because I had a mod for, I think you can even download this on the workshop, that like allows you to go in and see everything. So people were like trying to figure out new Easter eggs, people were trying to find old solves that were never found, stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think that it definitely at launch was not this bad. I'm sure, like, there's definitely been instances of people pulling like textures, like how we talked about, you know, with 3D modeling and rendering and stuff. Like, people have pulled textures of things that can relate to Easter egg quests, but it was never like, oh, I found a notes folder that says, you know, step 1 of the round 60 relic is to put a energy mine down on Tessie, watch the lights, and then correspond those to the light. Like, it's nothing like it's word for word, but now it's basically even better than that, because you can like walk up to it and go, oh, this corresponds with this, and now all we have to do is just test around. We have to mess around with this car for a little bit to see what procs, and then go over there and, you know, do the exact same thing over there. So yeah, this is definitely not only dangerous territory for the whole main Easter egg, but like everything for every video game could just be so easily crumble. Like, imagine GTA, you just run through everything so quickly with it. I mean, it would take a little bit longer in GTA because it's a much larger game. It's, you know, it's a full open world experience, but you know, GGA could be definitely impacted by this too. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully this gets clutch sports. Black fans pull up, they put everybody in, and you never hear from these people again, and the mods just are lost to lost media. But yeah, this is not a good time for zombies fans. I don't feel like enough people are really like people are talking about it. There's a lot of stuff, that for a couple days there was a lot going on Twitter. There's some videos made on YouTube, but like I feel like nobody's really like, I'd be going at like, no, I'd be like, dude, fuck you. Why would you make that? Why would you even like think about trying to do something like this? Why would you put this to use? First of all, like obviously now you're incriminating yourself. If you're gonna make it, why would you go public with this? But two, it's like I don't understand it. Maybe it's because we're a lot more into video games. We're hardcore players of video games, where again, somebody working a 9 to 5 in whatever job that has absolutely no interest in video games gonna look at this and be like, dude, you're stressing about the wrong things. And I agree, like it's very trivial in the grand scheme of the world, but like when it comes to this stuff, it's like, dude, come on, what the fuck? Like it'd be like somebody going out and leaking all of like the NFL playoff games. Like there's actually a script behind the scenes and being like, oh, this is everything that's gonna happen here. So you're like, dude, come on. Like
right.
You could always think like maybe the refs were rigging it one way or another, but like I didn't have to know all this stuff. Like you didn't have to put it all out there. I don't know, man. It's not a good vibe.
It's just
here,
like
not a good time.
That's another thing. Like, what are you accomplishing? Like, okay, like you're the person that like you're accomplishing nothing with this. Like nobody really cares that you solve the relics if you solve them like that. Like nobody really cares, and it's gonna be if you're that blatant about it. Like Paradox Junction's the litmus test. If it's solved in 45 minutes, it's like you cannot beat those allegations. You can't plausibly say, oh, I'm that good. It doesn't exist.
Even
it's
in
not
like
possible.
Even in like 2 hours, I'd be like, man, I don't know. Like,
and if you
like
walk into the boss fight, have
5,
no problem with the boss fight. It's like, but that's the thing. Like, why don't you at least, if you wanted to be sinister like that, why don't you at least make it seem plausible? What are you accomplishing for your image, for the community, for the game? You're not accomplishing anything. Everybody knows you're a fraud. Nobody knows you're legit. Nobody really cares about you that you solved it. It's like, why don't you at least wait and try to trickle stuff out and be like, oh, in 2 or 3 weeks, like, oh, look, I just found this. Like, if you wanted to actually be an evil person about it, it's actually less evil by just solving all of it and then just putting it out there. In theory, you could be more conspicuous behind the scenes and act and play it off like you're someone who just found something legit.
I think that's what it's more likely to be, whether it's with the relics or even the main Easter egg hunt itself. Like, I think that it would be like, oh, let's say it's not one of the big guys, right? It's like live and you're just in the background doing your thing. Or even if it is the big guys could act like they don't know anything and then just like, oh, somebody found a step. I found 2 steps. Now we're back ahead, something like that. That could be a potential. I mean, I'm not accusing anybody of anything at all. This is all hypothetical. Like this, not, please don't go to people and be like, oh, did you see what he said about you? Or, oh, he's insinuating that you're doing this stuff. It's not, I'm not at all. I'm just saying, like, if we're doing the thought exercise here of people that are, let's say, live all the time and they somehow got into bed with these people and they're just drip feeding them steps, being like, oh, map just came out, you guys start playing through, we're gonna go find everything, and then I'll like DM you hints or whatever, stuff like that. Like that's, still in a way compromising everything. Or you could just be like straight up like, oh, I'm just gonna beat the Easter egg 1, 2, 3, or 4 times over while these people are hunting, get a good grip on everything in the boss fight, and then by the time they're done or they're getting close, I just drop a guide, or I, come out and say, oh, I just out of nowhere I randomly beat the Easter egg. So again,
and
it's not
implausible there's somebody would do that though. That's
that's the thing, is like people think like, oh, who would ever do, like, I'm telling you, people somebody will do that, even if it's not somebody that I'm not accusing anybody. I'm not saying that like Noah is gonna DM this person and be like, yo, slide me, here's 5 bands, slide me all the information. I'm not saying that at all whatsoever. I'm just saying that somebody, doesn't even have to be a creator with 5 subscribers, somebody is going to do that. So if that tool is out there and it's accessible for people to get a hold of, even the guy that found it himself, not putting it past you to do that. Even if you say, oh, I didn't, or I only, I didn't use it, or I haven't used it in a while. You do it one time, like cans open, cat's out the bag, it's there.
It's available for you to utilize. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me
Once
read
the
it
toothpaste is out of the
time,
tube,
dude. Like,
yeah.
I'm not accusing anybody here. Do not go into other people's comments and be like, oh, he's saying that you're going to be allowed to. Now, if it's like 90 minutes into the Easter egg and like some of these steps just come flying off the shelf, then it's like, I got some questions, but yeah, right now I'm just, hypothetically speaking, it could be a guy with 0 subscribers and just somebody on Twitter could have the Easter egg solved in 90 minutes and then have all the information for the steps. And from there,
somebody could look at it.
Exactly. Somebody could do it, or somebody. Then you start messaging the guy like, "Hey, how did you do this?" Or "How did you get through this step?" And then they're playing like, God. And we see this a lot of times with leakers too. Again, not anybody in particular. I'm just saying, I feel like a lot of like leaking stuff has now become like an ego thing too, where it's like, I gotta have, I want the attention. You need to be being right. Able to put this out there. You have to be right, obviously. And if you're right all the time, then it becomes like, oh, I got all my shit together. It can be the exact same thing here, where somebody hacks the main Easter egg 60 minutes in, figures out everything, and then is sitting there like, oh, wait until everybody comes talking to me, or everybody wants to DM me for my, my not, like, there's people out there that do this shit. Like, it's not putting it past anybody in general. So I mean, it's not a good look for the game right now. Things are getting scary for sure, and I think that if this continues into the next map past that, where the game's in trouble, and every other game moving forward is in trouble. Now, I actually do think, before we move on here to the community corner, this could be a good thing for finding some unsolved eggs in prior titles. Like, I think if you were to actually use this for like last year and be like, hey, I'm pretty sure there was a Reckoning egg that didn't get solved, let's figure that out. Like, I don't have a problem with going back way after the fact when the game is dead and using stuff like this to figure out unsolved eggs, because like, let's say there's one on the Giant, or there's one on Gorod. No one's gonna ever find that shit out, just being honest. Like, no one's gonna find some random obscure BO3 Easter egg where you have to stand on pixels in every corner of the map, shoot the sun 5 times. Like, no one would ever figure that out. It hasn't been found in 10-15 years. It's not gonna be found out. It's like, this is where I'm kind of like, okay, some of this stuff could be cool for older games, but live service games, absolutely not. Like, no, hell no. Like, this needs to be abolished ASAP.
I don't know. I think it's tough to agree with what you just said because how the community's built and how the game has brought people to play it. I don't know. Like, there's people looking for some of this older stuff. Now, yes, if there was a way for you could definitively say like 0 people are looking for this in a perfect world, if you had all knowing power, yes, I could understand that point of view. But it's like, I don't know, if Treyarch hasn't told you yet, that's my benchmark.
They won't even.
If Treyarch isn't going to say it, well, I don't know. That's part of the lore. That's part of the mystery. That's part of why we play, is to find stuff that other people have never found. Like, I get what you're saying. The usefulness of it is interesting for something that is 10, 15 years old at this point. But it's like, I don't know. Like you said, the cat's out of the bag. Like, we have a problem here. We and if it's being used on older games, I don't know. You have no idea if there's somebody out there who doesn't have a Twitter, who isn't on YouTube uploading stuff. You have no idea if people are looking for stuff. And granted, if people don't, if they're not tapped in the community still, they might not ever see the solve anyway, if it just randomly gets solved because you could look and see it. But I don't know. I think the mystery of the game is a part of it. Is it a big part of it? It's not a huge part of it, but the older games, what I'm saying, obviously the new stuff. And I mean, that's the reason me and you, do what we do, honestly, mostly for the main quest Easter egg and for building wonder weapons and stuff like that. But it's like, I don't know. Slippery slope. I don't like it. You're saying, and I get this isn't what you're saying, but it's like, okay, that tool would need to exist for it to be useful for what you're talking about using it for. But I would rather it just didn't exist at all.
I 100% agree with you. I do think, though, tool aside, maybe there should be like some sort of like time capsule that they release and be like, oh, in 15 years,
that's a good idea.
Everything isn't solved. Or in 15 years, this time capsule is going to open. The BO3 time capsule will be opened on a flash drive.
That's a great idea.
Like a Google Doc of all of the Easter eggs and different like things that you can find or that haven't been found. That like the impossible Easter egg that still hasn't been confirmed or denied by Treyarch. Like, this is, again, with a time capsule, I think like if Jason Blundell, knock on wood, just dropped dead randomly, I don't think we'd ever fucking know what the impossible Easter egg is. Maybe you'd have like 1 or 2 other devs, but supposedly like one or two people know
It's gotta
about
be
what
a
it
file,
actually
though,
is.
somewhere at the office.
Yeah.
Gotta be
But like
somewhere.
for sure. But like I don't know. I just feel like it'd be a good chance of like never knowing. And at that point, that's some shit that I'd be like in 20 years, I'd be like, bro, what the fuck was that? Like there's still people, Skype's doing it. Like there's been.
That's what I'm saying. Skype's looking at stuff.
Yeah, this has been going on 10 years now, and we've been we made some breakthroughs. But at a certain point, I feel like it's like, all right, like can we just. Can we get something? But yeah, I think that's where this would help. And obviously the tool wouldn't help with the unsolved Easter egg. I'm just using it as an example. But yeah, I think that maybe time capsules would be cool. I think I'd love to see them start doing that. It's unfortunate that that idea wasn't thought of back in the day. Cause imagine like a World at War time capsule being opened up for the 20th year, and they've got like sick. All of like
maybe it will be
cover art or other stuff. Yeah, I mean that'd be. Even if it's not like a
watching,
quote-unquote time
implement
capsule,
it now.
But yeah,
you got a couple of years.
Get into the old office rooms that are all spider webbed and cobwebbed out, and brush off some of the old flash drives and see what you guys can find there.
You act like this game is like 50 years old. Like there was still like good record keeping technology when in what 2008. Like Google Docs came out in 06. Like they got it somewhere. Like they have something
Google Docs really
somewhere.
Come out in 06.
I just Googled it because I was very curious because you were saying, oh, if someone was put on a Google Doc 15 years ago, I was thinking, is Google Doc 15 years old? Said it came out in beta in 06 and then later came to the public later in 2006 with sheets. So they got something. There's flash drives, I don't know, but I didn't use Google Docs till the mid 2010s at the very earliest.
Like at the earliest would probably be like 2013, maybe.
Yeah,
like that's would be like best case. Yeah.
But they got something there. But you got to understand too, MZC. The funny part that we don't bake into this conversation that the light bulb just went on my head, they weren't that big in 08. COD was, it's not as big as it was now. Like they were, I don't know if you would describe them as like an indie developer in 08. I don't know if they were ever that small, but I mean, maybe when they first, COD 1, maybe they were indie developers, but it's like how many employees were at Call of Duty when they were making World at War? Probably a decent amount still, not like what they have now, obviously, but it's not like they were huge. Doing billions in 06. I don't think they were.
They might have been doing billions in 06 or 08. I think that was like right on the, because MW2 I think was like the big. I know like COD 3 was like probably the most popular one way back in the day. Like people played Call of Duty and like what Red Baron or whatever it was called, COD 1, COD 2. COD 3 is when I think it started to really become popular, and then Modern Warfare was like, oh shit, like this is like now people are playing online. It went from like, okay, we're all playing it at everyone else's house, so we're playing split screen, to now we have like actual multiplayer with Modern Warfare. And then World at War was like another step in the, it wasn't Modern Warfare, but it was your World War II kind of aesthetic. And then with the MW2, I think is when it kind of took the public by storm and it completely blew up, because now it was like modern setting, gruesome campaign. And then Black Ops, like MW2 through, actually, I'd say like Modern Warfare 1 through BO2 was like the highlight era, I think, for the game in terms of like, I don't know what kind of money they were making back then. Let me look at this. I'm gonna look at this up. How much money?
I'm looking at it because they don't have World at War numbers, but I want to look at what they sales for Black Ops 7 are not finalized. So I'm gonna go to Black Ops 6.
It says World at War sold over 17 million copies. So 17.6 milli times probably, I think it was like $59.99 back then, $60 for a game. It says that it made 43 milli. Looks like it like grossed 43 milli.
I mean, yeah, that's probably nothing compared to today. But I mean, it was the best-selling game of 08. So they were still cooking. They're obviously still cooking in 08. But it's like Black Ops 6, they went over the 500 million copies sold for all time. So you got to think if they sold 17.6 million copies worldwide of World at War, they've done 480 some million copies since then of all the other games combined. So it's like, it's interesting stuff though. I mean, it's like 30 million gross revenue just on Steam. I mean, Steam wasn't even that big back then probably either. So it's like, obviously they've been at the top of their game for literally 20 years. Like it literally took basically Black Ops 7 for them to be like, oh, this isn't the number one selling game in the world anymore. And next year probably questionable too if GTA comes out on time, but we'll see. The time capsule, I like that idea. They should run with that. 20-year anniversary, something opens up. This is all the stuff you guys missed in the last 20 years. And obviously you don't want to include, leave Black Ops 6 and Leave Cold War and Black Ops 7 out of it, obviously, but it's like, all right, here's everything you missed in the last 20 years. You don't have to look at it if you don't want to.
I agree. Treyarch, do it. Make it happen. Be cool.
Maybe so.
All right, on to our community corner. This week, I took 3 random comments from last week's episode, just like the OG episodes of PAP. So leave your community corner questions moving forward in the comments below. We'll do them next week. If you guys want to put whatever you want, honestly, it doesn't have to be related to the episode, but next episode, I can probably guarantee we'll be talking about the season 2 release with Cursed Survival and Spawn Room Challenge and everything coming in season 2, some of the weapons too. So leave your guys' comments down below. Could be related, could not. We'll pick them if I like them.
All right, fair enough.
That sounded kind of sounded harsh. I'll pick them if I like them. I think we should walk that back. I think maybe we'll pick the best comments for
it sounded
from this episode. That kind of sounded I don't know, authoritarian. I'm gonna pick them if I agree with them because
yeah, well,
never mind.
That sounds even worse. I'll pick them if I agree with them. Oh my god! All right, kicking it off here from Juan No John. They say Treyarch can actually tell if this is a precursor. Let me set the stage here. So we were talking last week about sales, revenue, microtransactions, player base. For if they wanted to do a game that was just Call of Duty Zombies, it was just called Call of Duty Zombies, and the multiplayer was zombies, and the zombies was zombies, and the campaign was zombies, and the end game was zombies, and the Blackout was zombies, and the Dead Ops Arcade 4 was zombies. Am I missing anything that could be zombies?
And the bundles were zombies, and the season pass
and the Outbreak was zombies, and the season passes with the collaborations with the Walking Dead, and
the whole game is big zombies.
The game is zombies, but Juan No Juan says Treyarch can actually tell if players are buying zombies-based shop items. Most zombie bundles are labeled, quote, Zombies Universe, likely some sort of categorization. Pro tip to contribute to the dream. I saw this comment. I went on the store and looked. Maybe I'm just dumb or blind. I couldn't see where he's talking about, or they're talking about the Zombies Universe. Like I said, maybe I'm just dumb. Do you know what he's talking about?
It might not say Zombies Universe, but I'm pretty sure it says like ZM. Or I'm wondering if like he's categorizing this as like, you know how when you boot into the zombies menu, it highlights the 8 playable characters that are like, oh, for the zombies experience or whatever. Like it kind of shows you like these the operators you should choose. I'm wondering if it has like ZM attached to the character or ZM attached to the weapon.
But he's saying in quote, it's we gotta look. Juan No John, we'll look because I want to look into this because this is it has to be. I honestly think because let me think about it like this. Maybe you just have a creative team that does the bundles, but why wouldn't you have somebody that's specific for each mode to at least have some input? Like, why would you have a multiplayer dev working on a zombies bundle? It doesn't make any sense. So what he's saying makes a lot of sense, and then being able to categorize it makes a lot of sense too.
Yeah, if this is true and like the 100% confirmed, pro tip to contribute to the dream, we should all be buying every single zombies bundle, man. We should be, hey, we're gonna vote with our wallet. We're gonna spend $100,000 on COD points this year.
They're gonna come at you for that, big bro. They ain't gonna like that.
They're not gonna like that. They're not gonna like that.
They ain't gonna like that,
especially without carry forward.
Every time, what MZC's saying is just every time you boot up, just buy a pack of Ultra Gums and just.
Yep.
Just
swipe your card and swipe your card, goon real hard, and on Twitter be like, hey, I just spent another $20 on Gobble Goons, so you guys should make Chronicles 2 at some point. I'm spending my money on this. I'm voting with my wallet.
Just screenshot your credit card transaction and just at Treyarch CM. Nope, just kidding. Don't do that. That was a joke. That was a joke.
Put your social on there too if you're really smart, and then tag me, and we'll have a good time. I'll make sure nobody sees that.
First, you're telling people to. This is going down a deep place. First of all, you're saying comment down below. If I like it, we'll choose it. Now you're asking for people's credit card information. We are just off the rails right here. But McCann is going to get us back on the rails. McCann 935. Love the profile picture, by the way, McCann. Love it. Love it. He says the tomb is not a bad map. What do you got thoughts about that? You love the tomb.
I love the tomb.
We love the tomb. What other Easter egg have we two-player sped run? Name them. You can't.
We do like the tomb. The tomb isn't like anything crazy, and I don't think it pretends to be. And we talked about this multiple times on the pod. We had a full episode to Is the Tomb Hate Overrated? We could probably revisit that at some point. But
it's a great episode.
I don't think it's it's not a bad map where I'm like, oh dude, this is actively just like trash, like it's terrible. I don't think it's the worst map of Black Ops 6. I would probably say that title could maybe go to, I mean, I'm not a fan of Shattered Veil at all. You guys are going to kill me in the comments below, but like, I don't really like Shattered all that much. The Easter egg's certainly better on Shattered than it is Tomb, but you know, it's simple. I think it could have been better. Absolutely. 100% could have had a better wonder weapon. But I don't mind like the idea of like having a Black Ops 1 style map where it's not anything advanced. The quest was certainly lackluster. The storyline was certainly lackluster, but the map itself, it was probably my favorite to actually just boot up and play. I mean, like Liberty Falls was cool. I think that I played probably the Liberty Falls and the Tomb the most, but the Tomb, once that got added in, it was so easy to just run down to Pack-a-Punch by round 4 or 5, get yourself the free cryo freeze and get yourself an ether tool and Pack-a-Punch upgrade for free. You know, it really helped with the, I mean, I was done with the camo grind at that point, but it would have helped with the camo grind. It was nice for the weapons that had been added in. I always went to the Tomb because it was the fastest setup, or if it wasn't that, it was Liberty Falls. So I think the Tomb done right looks like Astra Malorum. I think Astra Malorum is I think it's a little bit, but I think it's like a league above the Tomb. But like the Tomb is like your classic Black Ops 1 style of map, World at War style of map, which is just like, you know, 2 lanes, 3 lanes, run down to power, turn it on, Pack-a-Punch, and then slay out. I don't have a problem with those maps every once in a while. I think that what really hurt the Tomb is it just came off of a little bit of a gap with Citadel. And there was obviously the controversy with like the swords for Citadel, the lack of content in between. You had Squid Games, so the build up to the Tomb wasn't good, and they kind of just, they didn't drop it out of nowhere, but we got like a 15-second trailer with not much added to it. The Dark Ether Nexus was like beautiful in it, but outside of that, like it was the whole, this is our third map of the game, and it's the second one to feature a returning wonder weapon, and the voice, we were in the middle of voice strike 2, or the voice actors strike 2, that was affecting the game. So I think that like Tomb catches a lot of flack from external factors, despite it obviously could have been done better. But I think overall it's not a bad map. It's not a D or an F tier map, that's for sure.
Tomb got a rough shake. I'll always contend that. I think we're going to defend Tomb more than most. I will be the first person to say, if the Dark Ether Nexus was a survival map on Black Ops 7, everybody would be losing their shit and saying this is the best survival map. Oh my God, this is so good. 100%. This is so good. The TED Tasters. Oh my God, it's the most aesthetically pleasing skybox in the history. Like, just sometimes the sequencing of things is not right. The sequencing of the Tomb was wrong in every sense of the word. Didn't move along the story. Almost no reason for us to even be there. Dark Ether Nexus cool. Ice Staff broken. Cool boss fight arena. I mean, yeah, it's definitely the worst map on that disc. But like that disc had some good maps. Like at the end of the day, so it's like that's not the end of the world for me. I still think it was a decent contribution to a Call of Duty Zombies map. I like the Tomb personally.
I think it's worse than Liberty Falls.
Oh, for sure. Liberty Falls. Oh, Dennis Riffle's
what if they were
cooler than anything on the Tomb.
What if they were swapped?
First? Well, when people find out that Liberty Falls is actually just Haven's Hollows,
Haven's Hollows
just scissored up, yeah, just then it's like, oh, the Tomb is unique and not reuse that. As soon as people find out stuff's reused assets, even though the Tomb is part of Avalon, everything's just a big reused asset.
Not the Nexus or the caves. So really, all it is the spawn room.
No, Liberty Falls is better map. My opinion.
All right, we'll come back to that at some point because
more replayable, more handsome. Liberty Falls is the best side egg in the whole game. Cry in the comments if you disagree, but nothing's cooler than the 300 bowling. My opinion. Am I missing anything?
Nah, you might be right on the bowling for sure. You might have me there.
There might be an unsolved thing that's cooler that we haven't solved that the time capsule will reveal, but I don't know.
The shotgun might be a little more fun than the Ice Staff too.
Oh, for sure. Top Alma, I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Just tap, 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 tap. All right. Vinci WS They say, just with business in mind, why Activision, greedy as they are, chose not to name Cursed as Classic. The term alone would sell more copies. This is an interesting point, but I think this goes back to a lot of the philosophy me and you talk about MZC. Like, at some point, you see this, and we talk about this with general managers in sports too. For all of our sports lovers out there might understand what I'm talking about. Like, sometimes you don't want to be associated with the old. How many of these developers, we talked about this last week. How many of these developers developed Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, even Black Ops 3? Not many of them. Like, if you're the new decision makers in town, like, you don't want to think about the team that got you the championship if you weren't, the leader, if you weren't the front office leader there. You want to build your own name. You want to come up and be your own people. You want your own baby and your own inventions or your own roster or your own ideas to shine, so maybe that's why. I'm not saying that's why. I'm just saying that's something that could play a factor into it. And also at the end of the day, like, I think they're setting themselves up to get grilled if they do that, because it's really not a classic mode. It's really not. It's close. It has aspects and it has mechanics, but it's really, most people, they'd be like, this is such a lie. This is false advertising, track rug pull. They would have got so much negative PR from that, in my opinion. Probably the number one reason.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with it. Is just like, I agree with you. It probably would have sold some more copies, but it would have cooked the mode even further than, the player numbers aren't amazing, but let's be real. It's not classic at all. Like, the relic system alone makes it completely different from what classic is. I guess, like, the base tier 0 of Cursed, it's pretty close, but you still have your armor, you still have your rarity. It's still the same modern mechanics. You've got the you got the crafting table. So it's not classic, and I think that's why they decided not to call it that, because you would have had massive blowback right away and be like, they don't even know what classic zombies is anymore. Oh my god, people don't even know what the old games are. Nobody here working here has any idea what the older games are like. Meanwhile, Kevin produced Zetsubo, Ancient Evil, which are two, Zetsubo is probably the most underrated map of all time. Ancient Evil is in a lot of people's S tier categories, so it's not like they don't, I'm sure a lot of, like you were saying, I'm sure a lot of the devs there are new, haven't really been around for more than 5-10 years maybe, but yeah, dude, there's no point in calling it classic when it's not. I think they actually made a good decision there, because for a while it was rumored, classic mode, and that even in itself is what kind of cooked a lot of the perception around the game prior to launch, was people being like, oh, it's not classic. It's not exactly the classic mode. So, like, why would I buy this? It's still not what I want. Again, with them calling it classic would have been false advertising in a sense. And people would have just been like, this isn't even anything like even close. So I'm not buying it, or I'm refunding, or, negative reviews of the game get even more negative. So I get where you're coming from here. I agree that classic probably would have sold a little better, or at least gotten more people to play it or try it. But I think it's the smart decision for them to not call it classic, because it's not. And you would have had probably more blowback with that than you did with the fact that armor plates are still in the game. So I'm not saying you're wrong here, but yep. I just personally, I understand where they're coming from here.
No, yeah, for sure. Definitely would have sold more copies. I get that. Pretext of the question is Activision being greedy, so I understand it fully, but I don't know. I think they did a good job not calling it classic. I mean, Cursed is fine, create your own path and move forward from there. All right, MZC, anything, final comments, questions, concerns from you before we get into this Perkaholics Anonymous podcast post show for Perkaholic tier members? We appreciate every single one of you who consumes the content, who joins us in the post show. We love you all. Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely go hit Perkaholic for this episode. I haven't been hammering it too hard, but we're going to be talking about the controversy of those Epstein files and some of the stuff that was found in it of him having an Xbox account as well as liking COD. So this will be an interesting post show. If you guys want to go check that out, we really appreciate it. It's probably be our best post show to date from the first couple. The first one was good. We talked about leaks. Surprisingly, a lot of that was rehashed a little bit in this episode. There's some more of like our personal lore in that one, but in the past two have been us just raging out, crashing out on Resurgence. But we're kind of back to like an actual post show here for episode number 4 of that. So this is going to be a good one, because we've got you can't see them, but we have the official email documents in the doc that we're working off of right now. So this is going to be pretty interesting.
All right, Club Squad. Thanks for hanging along. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you stay safe. Make sure you stay hydrated. And we'll see you guys in episode number 28. Peace.